Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the We Do section of Lesson 19, where we are going to convert measurements. Now, think of this We Do part as the small group work, where we're working together to solve these problems. And I think that you can all do it. Right? Hopefully you feel a little bit more confident as we do a few more of these problems. If not, don't worry about it. We're going to do some more tomorrow and in the future, whether it's in a lesson or Google Meet. Okay, so put forth the effort. Make sure you're working in your workbook as we go. All right, so let's begin. Remember, we have our reference sheet here on page 32. You can flip to it at any point. You could also just pause the video here and check it out as needed. So let's go to page 82, which is our problem set. What I did already off to the side here is I wrote some of our conversions so we didn't have to go back and forth and looking at it. And we're going to convert as the directions say, and if possible, we're going to put them into mixed numbers. And I'll tell you, letter B here has a mixed number for us. As I look, most of our work is in number forms. I will put some of these into picture form too, so you can visualize it. So let's get started with this. I'm going to first notice that I have 4 feet and I want it into yards. But what I did is, or what they did, is to decompose this to have 4 holes and 1 foot. And if I drew a picture of that, I would show that in my work, I really have 1 yard. I ultimately have a yard. But within that 1 yard, I have 3 feet. So I would cut this into 3 parts. Right? But really in our work here, I just want 1 foot. I broke that apart. So really, I'm just looking for one of these as I shade this in. So what is this part in yards? Well, it's really just going to give us 1/3. It's part of a yard, not the whole yard. So as I write this over, I would say I have 4 times 1. A fraction line means dividing. Divide by 3. And as I multiply this, I'm going to have 4 in my numerator, and I would have 3 in my denominator. And there is our answer. However, we're going to take it a step further and put it in a mixed number. I can pull out a whole number, 3/3, and I'm left with 1/3. But ultimately, when I put these together, I have 1 whole and 1/3. Okay? Now, don't forget that this needs to have a label, whether you label it down here, yards, right, or you went up to the top here and put 1 and 1/3. And please make sure that you have those units labeled. Right? Let's look at letter C. We'll also do E as well. Right? At any point, right, feel free to pause the video, try it out, right, press play and see how you did. Right? If you still don't feel comfortable, just keep the video rolling. All right? All right, so again, we're going to do C and E. D and F are part of your exit tickets today. Right? So here I'm going to well, let's start with a model. I'm going to draw my model. And what do I know of the relationship between inches and feet? If you don't know, you could certainly use your reference sheet. Right? But I do know in just 1 foot, there is a total of 12 inches. So I would then decompose this into 12 pieces, 11 lines, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 lines. And I really want 7 of them. So let's pick a highlighter here. And there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I have my 7 pieces. And now what does that truly look like in feet. Well, I don't have the whole foot. I have a fraction of a foot. So in my fraction of the feet, there's really 12 pieces in it. I have 7 of them shaded in. There's my answer, 7/12. If I was doing it in number form, I would decompose and break this up into 7 and our inches. So I would have 7 times 1 inch. And I'm going to keep my 7, but I'm going to change my 1 inch. 1 inch is really 1 out of 12 pieces, just as we showed over here. And I'm going to rewrite this as 7 times 1 divided by 12. And as we solve that, we have 7/12. No simplifying needed. And it's the same as our picture. So as you're working with your Exoticket, if you want to draw a picture and that will help you, go for it. If you want to do it in number form, go for it. If you want to do both, awesome. Then you have a check. And let's look at letter E. This one's ounces, the pounds. If we went to that reference sheet, you'll notice that it would say that there's 16 ounces equals 1 pound. And I can draw a picture. I'm going to draw one that's a little bit longer here in this one. And my relationship to it we just have here is my 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So I would have to show that I have 16 ounces or 16 parts. So I'm going to have 15 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Squeeze one in there. Okay? And I want 5 of those ounces. So let's take that highlighter. Oh, that's a crayon. I'm trying a new site here. Okay, we want 5 of them. Well, there's 2, 3, 4, and 5. I would shade that with the side of my pencil. How many pieces are in this? Not the whole thing. It's 5 out of the 16 pieces. If I did this in number form, and you can even pause the video and try it, okay, but I would have now 5 times 1 ounce. I'm going to then take my ounce and say, well, in relationship to my pounds, I only have 1 out of the 16 that I would have to make a pound. I would multiply then first, or divide second, and put our 16, our denominator in, and then we'd solve it. 5 times 1 is 5. The denominator hasn't changed. This is your answer. It checks here. No simplifying needed there as well. Now, before I send you off into the Exoticket, which is you're going to take a picture of D and F and upload it onto Google Classroom, let's talk about one other conversion that you haven't seen. Okay? And we often talk about it. I want you to solve them when we were together in class, that the millimeters, the centimeters, and the meters are something that you're going to have to remember on your own. So let's do one of those because it's not in your reference sheet. And then you could always refer back to this video if needed. So let's solve one. Now, saving. Okay, let's try that again. If anytime we work in centimeters, millimeters, and meters, I draw this picture. And you might be saying, oh, Mr. Philip, I kind of remember that. Right? How many centimeters are in a meter? You're thinking 100, you're correct. And then the small little lines, which we call millimeters, there's 1,000 of them. So let's say that we had, pick a number, say 52. Why I picked 52, I don't know why. But let's say I had 52 centimeters. And let's say how many meters it equals. Now here's where I got to stop and think. Is it reasonable to draw a tape diagram, just as we did up here, but turn it into 52 parts or even 100 parts? Right? No, it doesn't seem reasonable, not really feasible. So we're going to have to break this up into number form. So I'm going to say 52 times what? again, giving you some wait time here. We're going to break it up into our centimeters and only 1 centimeter. I'm going to then convert it or change it. Our 1 centimeter, we're going to convert into meters. Well, what is that going to be in meters? Well, I have to think that it's going to be 1 centimeter out of the 100 total centimeters. Again, looking at this model here, there's really going to be 100 of them. We want just one. It's going to be 1/100th. I'm then going to write this over as an expression combining those two. And we solve. Giving us a basic fact of 52. Nothing happens to our denominator. And there is your answer. Don't forget to place it into your blank there, or even just put a label on their M. If you're thinking, hey, Mr. Phillip, I can go farther. I notice that this 2 here and 100 is both divisible by 2, meaning I can divide it by 2. You could to make an equivalent fraction, right? But not needed in this particular problem. Didn't ask to simplify. That's going to be your middle school work. Okay? So there is your answer. I hope that helps a little bit for you. So that is our lesson, our we do piece of converting measurements. And if, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you are feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you're going to get some more practice in the future. So don't worry. Give me your best thoughts. Give me your best work. If you're confused, feel free to reach out to me as a private comment or out to a fellow genius on those class comments. Thanks for joining us, and I wish you luck on that exit ticket.